What's going on, guys, and welcome to August episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered to us for free on PlayStation Plus, play them throughout the month, and at the end of the month we talk about it, kind of like a book club. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And this month we played Mafia 3 and Dead by Daylight, and they've already announced the games for next month, which will be Destiny 2 and God of War 3. What are you guys thinking about those games?
Well, we kind of had talked about it before, but none of us picked up Destiny 2, so it'll be nice to actually be able to try the game and actually have a personal opinion
A
of
real
it.
opinion on it, yeah.
And then God of War 3, I played it originally when it first came out, but my game taste may have changed, so that'll also be a treat to play.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling that too. This month's really interesting just because Destiny 2 I skipped over because, I looked at it and thought the same thing as a lot of people thought. And then I heard a lot of things that kind of confirmed that thought. So it'll be good to actually try it out. I'm sure it's fine. So I'll get to play it. And I guess you can already download it, which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
because this weekend there's an event happening. But God of War 3 will be really interesting because I used to actually not like the God of War series, and I probably still don't just because of the gameplay, but I do remember the scale and the graphics back then were fucking mind-blowing AAA. And then obviously playing the new God of War, I'm a huge fan of that one. So going back and playing that, even though I do know the storyline, playing it again, I think I'll be able to look at it through a different lens. So that'll be kind of interesting. Any
I'm
thoughts,
ready
Chris?
to give it the good old college try.
Yeah.
I'm not too super stoked about the games themselves, but they are high quality games. Just so I was never really into playing, so now I have to.
Well, it's a good thing that our game of the month this upcoming month is Deep Rock Galactic. If you missed out, we did game of the month yesterday. We played Vermintide throughout August, so make sure to go check out that episode. But in September, we'll be playing Deep Rock Galactic, so that will probably be taking up more of my time out of these three games.
Probably.
But we'll see. Also, shout out to around at this point, like the 100 new subscribers to the channel. Welcome to the community. This is a conversation channel, so we like to talk, and we hope you guys also join the conversations. All of our shows are oriented towards talking with you guys, not at you guys. So feel free to always comment and join us on our Discord, link down below. Talk to us anytime, all the time. And we are also on podcast platforms, iTunes, Spotify, a bunch of them. There's like 9 of them down below if you want to listen to us. And if you're listening to us, you can check us out on YouTube at Tasty Loot Gaming. So with all that out of the way, like I said, in August, we played throughout the month Mafia 3 and Dead by Daylight. Hopefully you guys had a chance to play those. I figure we should probably start with Mafia 3 because I have a lot to say about one of the two games, and it's not Mafia 3. So, Chris, how about you start us off with your impressions with that? Let me explain real quick though. If you did not play Mafia 3, it is a third-person crime game similar to Grand Theft Auto, or more importantly, Mafia 2, where you play what's his name?
Oh, lovely.
Oh no,
I don't remember people's names in real life, man.
it starts with a C, I believe. We all played it, I assure you. You play as a guy who comes back from Vietnam, and he is betrayed while he's trying to make his neighborhood better. And you go on a fucking rampage, getting revenge. Yeah, so it has all your typical things: shooting mechanics, driving mechanics, stealing cars, punching people in the street. At least that's what I did, and I did a lot of that, and a lot of really crazy language that you don't hear in a lot of things nowadays. Which I was like, wow, this is authentic. So, Chris, what were your impressions this month of that game?
So I'm not a real big like GTA style game player. I enjoy them for like the brief moments of like the sheer chaos that I can incur in them. But after that, I tend to get pretty bored of them quickly. And unfortunately, I found myself getting bored quickly with this game faster than I would with a normal GTA. And I'm not sure why. It kind of felt like it was like a slightly upgraded version, like graphics wise, of San Andreas.
Damn.
I just didn't.
You gonna drop that kind of insult on the fucking game? That was a
I know,
PS2 game.
harsh, but it just didn't captivate me like I wanted it to. I really did enjoy the historical accuracy of the language that they used, and that they gave a warning ahead of time about, like, this game, we're not gonna like be untrue to the darker, grittier parts of history, because that
Definitely.
was like kind of like dishonoring the memory of all the people who had to go through that. So it's a really nice footnote that they added to it. But beyond that, I could not find myself playing this game extensively. And it's not that it's a bad game. It's not bad in graphics. It's just very repetitive gameplay. And I get bored of that real quickly when it's just the same stuff. Like, it's the same problem I have with most MMOs. The missions, the quests are the same things. Go here, kill
I
all
agree
these
with you
people.
100% on
Like
MMOs.
this. Right.
Yeah.
And it's just, maybe I just didn't dive too deep into the game, but I just found myself getting bored very early on and just didn't feel the need to dive much deeper into it because of it.
That's fair, and I will be able to back some of those statements on my impressions. Anything that stuck out to you that was positive? No.
It's not like anything was positive, but it's just like it's not overwhelmingly positive for me.
You didn't like anything in particular? Nothing really stuck out?
Nothing really stuck out too hard for me. That's it. It was just another. It felt like another GTA clone to me.
Man, I'm excited to find out your grade. Even though knowing you'll probably give it like a fucking A- and apologize. Like, I'm gonna give it an A-. It was.
I gotta look at it objectively, beyond of like my personal like gripes
Yeah.
of like styles of gameplay versus how well the game plays and how entertaining it can be.
Yeah, for sure. I'll balance it out a bit and go with my impressions. I'm glad you're honest about that. It wasn't really your cup of tea, and nothing really stuck out for you. Given a little bit of backstory on this, I actually played this when it came out originally. I bought it for Xbox because I needed an Xbox game. I bought it digitally, which was a mistake. And there was a lot of problems with this game when I first played it. So that really makes some difference there, because there was like some crazy weather effects. Like, it would be nighttime, I'd get in my car, and then all of a sudden I'd see the stars just fucking roll over the horizon and the sun would come up. And I was like, that completely ruins the immersion of fucking this realistic game. Or I was driving in a mission, and like it was like dawn and the sun was coming up, but the sky was blood red and the sun was just burning on the fucking horizon. And as it got higher, it was just so bright I couldn't fucking see anymore. I was like, is this the apocalypse? Why is this happening?
Get to the shelter.
So yeah, I was like, this is the end. This is a nuke going off. It was fucking crazy. So luckily, coming back to the game, playing it on PS4, none of those issues existed, which is great. Looked better. I don't know if that's the difference between PS4 and Xbox. Not getting into that fucking discussion, but with the different factions. But it definitely looks better, so that was cool. Because I remember looking at it before, I was like, oh, it looks pretty decent. Looked at it this time, I was like, this is a good looking game. It's a good looking game.
In all fairness, you have a Pro as well,
Sure.
so it's gonna look better than when you play.
That
it on
is a point. That is a point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good point, but it's a point. It's a good point. You got a point. I don't know if it's good, but it's a point. But yeah, so getting back into it, I was almost surprised, because my impression originally when I played on Xbox was it had potential, but it was empty and it was too repetitive. Coming back to it, I saw a bunch of things that I actually really love about it, but fell into the same area of going, this is where it starts getting repetitive again. I did this already. So what happened, not what happened, the big takeaways for me is, first off, I really like the gun mechanics. I think the shooting is really tight and really fucking rewarding. I can't think of another shooter, especially a third-person shooter in recent time, that feels this visceral when you shoot at people. I know it's kind of a fucked up thing, but that's what you do in this game. That's the main gameplay mechanic. There was a dude who I came in a room and I shot him in the stomach. He backed up, hit a wall, and like his back's leaning against the wall and his feet are still in front of him like this. And I shot him again, and his body slid down the wall with his legs still in place and his head just tucked into the desk. That kind of ragdoll is, like, on a technical level, rare as fuck. And it's not that I'm like, oh yeah, I fucking killed that guy. Some people might be like that. I'm not like that, but I still appreciate the technology there. I'm just like, that is crazy that he was like, a lot of them will actively be moving still as they're dying. He was like talking when he was going down the wall. He's like, just like bleeding out his mouth. And then I saw him just slump, and I was like, that was fucking insane. How like crazy visceral that was.
I found myself trying to shoot people in the head more often than the body parts because I didn't want them just to then like crawl across the floor screaming in agony. I was like, oh, this is too much.
See, and to each their own. Obviously, I like it in the sense that the game doesn't seem like it's not like championing violence. It makes violence really brutal. When you shoot people, I'm never like, yeah, fuck you. I'm just like, pop, pop. I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. Like, you know, I'm killing these people. When you shoot them like in the body or whatever, like you see the impacts. They'll trip over their shin when you shoot them there, stuff like that. And just as like an engine, the way it's built, it's very impressive. Mafia 2 was super impressive as well. I remember that was one of the first times I ever saw car physics, and I still haven't seen a whole lot of games do it, where only on PC, if you shot a car, the suspension would actually move the car as the bullets hit. It would actually take the weight of the bullets and move the car. Very fucking impressive. So the team that works on Mafia, they really care about their engine, and it really shows. So I really, really, really enjoy playing Mafia 3. It's a really fun game to play. Now, going to the negatives, well, first off, also, the main character, I think, is a good main character, even though I don't remember his name.
Lincoln.
I apologize. Lincoln. Okay. I keep wanting to say Clinton.
Lincoln. I'm going to choke on my tongue now.
Flinton.
Lincoln Clay.
Yeah. Clay. That's where I got the C from. He's an interesting main character, although I think his proportions are weird.
He's huge.
Like he's supposed to be like a big buff dude, but like he seems like unnaturally big. He's bigger than everybody.
Yeah, he's ginormous.
It's like he barely fits through doorways and shit. Like he gets in a car, I'm like, how does he fit in there? Lots of practice. But he's an intriguing character. I think the way the story's told is really interesting. It's very cinematic. So was Mafia 2, and it's worth mentioning too, I love Mafia 2. So I think that's probably the best Mafia game. But this game pretty much does everything right. Looks great, plays fucking fantastic. I love the gunplay in the game. The storyline's really interesting. There's some really cool scenes, really impactful scenes. The authenticity to the time period and the location is really good, even though the city does feel vacant, which sucks. Not like the game sucks for that, but it just sucks that they couldn't make it feel more realized. I remember Mafia 2 feeling more alive. So maybe they should have the resources to build that up more. But where it is weak at 100%, and this is where you're going to hear most people's complaints, is to get to every main part of the game, you have to take over districts. And to do that, you have to do like 4 different types of side missions to build up a meter to finish that place out. And it's fun at first, but after you finish it and realize you're going to be doing this more again and again and again, it becomes repetitive. And that's why I stopped playing on Xbox, and then playing on PS4. I was like, man, why did I stop playing this? Why did I stop playing this? This is fucking awesome. And then I beat that first area. I'm like, this is where it starts repeating. This is where you start doing the same things over and over again. So yeah, I'm really conflicted with this game because I honestly love everything about it. They're this fucking close to greatness by holding back on, more immersion and more variety in what you can do in the game. If they had a better path on how to progress you through the game, I think this game would have been way better. And I don't even think it's a bad game. It's lacking in that department. And I think it's one of the most important departments in the game. So that's my impressions. I like it, but it's not amazing.
Yeah, I actually agree with what a lot you said. And
I made a point, not necessarily a good point.
For new people to the channel, I say this very often. I don't generally have an easy time playing sandbox games, so that is a bit of a hindrance for me when it comes to this game. It's not a negative towards the game; it's a negative towards me and the game. But that aside, I really do enjoy, first off, I do appreciate not only that they didn't shy away from the language and the violence and stuff like that, but that they were also considerate enough to warn people in case that's not what they want to get into, or and then also, essentially stick to, like Chris had said, how things were. So, and I really appreciate that because I enjoy when you can experience something that like that's not something we're really experiencing. You know what I mean? Like, it's sure some people are, but anyways, yeah, I really appreciate that aspect of the game. I also really think the characters were, at least main character wise, were very cool. I believed all of them to be, you know, people, which was great. I like the character models. I think they did a really good job in that.
Although this is almost an Ubisoft thing too, and a lot of movies and a lot of games, bad design. But I hate when you start a game and you're playing with like one of your main characters with somebody, and you can just tell by the way they're modeled that they're the bad guy. They look like a piece of shit and they talk weird, and you're just like, you're the bad guy. Like, it would be so much better if they like made someone you like Griffith, and then he fucking kills everybody. Spoiler alert for Berserk.
Yeah, I didn't run into that, but I wasn't really.
You didn't? The guy you go to the bank with, whole time, you can just tell that guy's the goddamn, he's gonna betray you before you even know there's a betrayal that could happen.
Probably just wasn't putting very much thought into it though. So
I fucking didn't even have to think about it at all. It just happened naturally.
But anyways, yeah. So I like the characters. I think they are done really well. I think they look really well. The voice acting is very good. I'm not a huge fan of the driving in the game. It's a personal gripe, probably, because Seth didn't seem to share this.
No, I completely share that.
Oh,
We already talked about this, yes, but I think I look at it differently. The driving is artificially bad because they want to reward you when you upgrade your vehicles. Because I drove an upgraded vehicle and it drove fucking amazing. It drove how all the cars should drive. So what they do is they have a set standard of how cars should drive, and those are the supercars. And then they just make them shitty, and those are the normal cars. And it's a way to make you feel like you've built up your car to the point where it feels good, but they did it in a bad way because the cars just are shit before they get to what they naturally should be.
Okay, yeah.
Do you think it could also be historically accurate though for the cars that period? Because from my understanding, cars were kind of floaty back then, and that's what the controls feel like for a lot of the cars. It's like you're
but it's that game's not a simulation though. Those cars don't drive like real cars. You hit the brake and the screen starts shaking. Even if you're going 10 miles per hour, the screen will go and your guy instantly stops because it's expecting that you're driving full speed and you're going to slam on the brakes. So it's trying to simulate that. And this is a weakness in the engine, but it does that even when you're going slow. And that drove me nuts because I was like, I'm going to drive like a normal person for a second. And I was like going like 30, and then I hit the brake. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, for me it was the sliding because I'd be driving too fast. I'd hit the brakes, and all of a sudden you're just going still for a while. And I was like, okay, I get it. Like, I'm going too fast, but I don't know. It just felt way too elongated. So that drove me nuts as well. I also don't usually like vehicles in most games though, so that's not fair. But
I don't like wheels.
I would say even
Keep your fucking wheels away from me.
even to go like back to like the original Halo, for example, like other people would like rush to the vehicles, and if there wasn't a passenger seat for me to get in, I'd just run. I wouldn't even drive. I don't like controlling vehicles in games, so
good to know.
yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, if you're running out of vehicle, Chevy, don't stop and assume he's gonna hop in and drive for you. Just get in the fucking car and hope he gets into. Just hope he doesn't get lost or taking a right and not know where he's at anymore.
I do. Yeah, no, I get lost in a cardboard box. The shooting I was conflicted with at first because it must have been the weapon I had because it was an automatic weapon and it just felt like it sprayed fucking everywhere, and I was like, I can't hit shit with this. And then after you get past the introduction of the game and you can actually start buying the upgrades for your guns and whatnot, I actually found myself finding guns that I really liked in the game, and like you said, I did actually really start to enjoy the shooting in the game.
My favorite weapon for a long time was the fucking pistol.
I'll say the pistol is probably my favorite. I used the sniper rifle a little bit. But yeah, the automatic weapons, I didn't get to try any higher level.
The Thompson sadly is awful, and that's like one of my favorite weapons from like World War II. So like when you shoot that thing, its recoil's insane and it just fucking pulls up like you're shooting like an LMG or something. It's like even a short burst, the thing was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And there's upgrades, so it makes sense. But again, I feel like that's the game artificially punishing you so you feel rewarded when they could just make something already awesome and get better. But that takes, you got to plan that out. And I think they just took the easy route. Going, this is what we want it to be like. Okay, how do we make it something they got to work towards? Well, just make it worse. Make it fucking awful. Okay.
Well, and
I got to be able to enjoy that early game too. So anyway.
Well, I think that also shines through a lot of the game. It feels like they spent they took the easy route on a lot of options through most of the game. It seems like, because like you brought it before, the city feels a little empty. The cars feel artificially bad. The guns, the machine guns, I should say, spray all over the place. So I'm kind of wondering if that was like intentional or if that was just like a production, like we got to get this game out type of thing.
I think they put all their resources into that engine and the story.
Yeah, because
the writing and the cinematography and shit like that.
Because anytime I did get a cutscene, I actually really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, I think the voice acting is really good, so it really helped to be able to watch those cutscenes and not cringe every time someone spoke. So that was really cool. I did get through the first district and the cutscenes. Even at that point, I was really surprised the route they took, and it was really cool to see. They're not afraid to be extreme in the game, which, like I said earlier, I appreciate that. So, but overall, I'm mixed, I guess would be my impressions. So,
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I'm mixed to a certain degree too. Just I lean a little bit more into liking it just because of, I guess, maybe my past with Mafia, the series. Also, I got more time to play because I play on Xbox as well. And playing it a second time almost made me appreciate it more.
this is my first Mafia game.
But yeah, I mean, that makes sense too. But even like I'm saying, like I played Mafia 3 on Xbox, and that experience was not as good as this time. It's just that repetition is undeniable. It's just there. You can't go, well, like if you're okay with it, that's fine. There's certain games I don't give a fuck about repetition or
Right.
Fuck. I was trying to say reputation.
I don't give a fuck about reputation.
I don't give a fuck about reputation. I don't give a shit where you from, who you are, fucking what you got, doesn't matter. But yeah, so that's something that's undeniable. And if you're okay with it, you're okay with it. If it was a game where like I had like a skill tree and all that kind of shit and like, a lot of stuff to unlock, I could look past it faster. But this game for me is more about the gameplay, and it does get repetitive doing that. Yeah, so should we get into recommendations?
Yeah.
I would recommend it to anyone who likes third-person action games, anybody who likes any kind of Grand Theft Auto type game. If you liked Mafia 2, you'll definitely like this, except for if you're a purist and you really liked Mafia 2, this probably won't be as good. But I've also talked to people who really love this game, so I think it's kind of up in the air. But if you did play Mafia 2, you'll probably like this. If you like games that take you to historical times, I think it does a pretty good job at that. Story-driven games, I think it does a good job at that as well. If you don't like repetitive gameplay games, you will run into that wall. It's not, if, it's when. Fuck, I don't know. Shooters. If you like first-person shooters, I mean, this is a shooter. So if you're not like I only play first-person shooters type person, which I don't think exists, you'll probably dig this. It has really good shooting mechanics. As a guy who really likes shooters, it felt really good. And yeah, if you're a tech dork and you like engines and how games are built, there's something to be appreciated here. But outside of that, I couldn't see myself recommending this to everybody. In fact, I don't know if I'd mentioned it to a lot of people unless something brought me to that topic. Like someone's talking about like, man, I really like Grand Theft Auto 5, but I've played it like way too much. And I just like wish there was more games like that. I'd probably be like, well, did you try Mafia 3? So,
Yeah.
anything you guys want to add to that or take away from it? Be like, no, Seth, those are all bad. Don't recommend it.
I actually, I don't think there's anything for me to add to that because I do think it is a pretty narrow group of people to suggest it to. Though I think it's funny when you brought up, if it came up in conversation and they were looking for other games, mean, my head obviously goes. I'd be like, well, Saints Row 2, Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, but they gotta jump through a couple more hurdles to get to those. Well, it's not Sleeping Dogs, but like Saints Row 2 would be hard for me to bring up unless like I knew they had like a 360.
That's true. Yeah. But
I'd be like, Mafia 3 was free on PlayStation Plus. Did you get that? And they'd be like, no, I don't have PlayStation Plus. I'd be like, well, you're fucked. It's over.
go back to Grand Theft Auto.
Pack it up. Get back on Grand Theft Auto. That's where you live now.
But I think you were pretty spot on. So
Oh, also, if you're a crocodile enthusiast.
it is pretty fun to throw people in the water.
Yeah, it's really scary, though, because I feel like the crocodiles are all like missiles locked by their tail to the bottom of the pond or the swamp. And when you drop a body in, they go, shink, they go, and they just grab it and fly back in because they fucking rip up there and just grab them and go right back in the water instantly. There's no death roll or nothing. They're just like fucking. It's like a reverse Fulton. They don't take you in the sky. They take you in the into hell.
I do actually have an add-on thinking about it.
Yeah. You got some DLC?
No. If you're into stealth mechanics as well, because the game does have
it's got decent stealth
pretty
mechanics.
decent amount of stealth. I played most of the missions by sneaking around and stealth killing people, which I actually found really fun in this game.
And
So,
that's a really good one because I'm really big into stealth games and they are really good stealth mechanics. Actually, I will normally start almost any mission into stealth, and if it goes crazy, then I'm like, all right, time to
Bunker
blow
down,
the
yeah.
big guns. I have a shotgun. I'm constantly just like, I hope I fuck up, just so I can fire this thing off. But I had a silenced pistol, and I'm just creeping on, going. I'm like, this is actually really satisfying.
I was just stabbing people in the throat constantly.
He is brutal as shit with that knife.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
He's actually trying to kill people.
Yep.
I mean,
A lot
you
of
can
games
turn,
to like.
you can turn that off. You can have non-lethal takedowns, but it's
Why-
an option.
why?
to
No.
go to the menu to do it.
No, Chris.
I don't
Stop.
know. It's an option. I didn't say I did it.
Go play
but it's
something else.
I
present.
don't like those options. Don't give me options. I'm trying to kill with that knife. I'm playing a lot of Dead by Daylight, okay? I'm used to people killing people with a knife. Brutally. Any recommendations?
You
People
guys
who
really
want to
covered
play
all of
without
it.
the blood? There's options.
The only people I could recommend this to personally would be like people who really enjoy like GTA style games, the a little less zany atmosphere. This does feel a little more grounded. It's not as bright color wise, palette wise. The cops seem to be a little more aware of you. So like if you're speeding too fast through cities, they will definitely pick up on you. If you run over someone on accident, even just like back up into someone, a witness will instantly start running to call the cops. Like they're more present in the game.
I didn't have
And it just
either of those
feels more
happen to me.
realistic.
Oh, really?
The only time I saw cops at all in that game was when you're running through the parade or whatever, Mardi Gras.
Well, that's right at the beginning of the game. I mean, they're all over the fucking place in that game. And Chris is again making a point that I didn't think about earlier. I do really like that the cops are not just like driving drones that are just ready for you to shoot somebody, and then they act like a hive. Like you bump somebody with your fucking car, and someone's like, call the cops, and they fucking run to the thing. And they call the cops, and then even the chick on the phone will be like, there's a report of like some guy did something on this street. You want to go check that out? And they're like, yeah, I'll do it. And it's not even like 1 star. They're fucking gonna get you. It's like there's a cop that's gonna drive in that neighborhood. Right. And it's like you just don't want to be there. But then like if it escalates, it's like this area they're looking for you. Outside of that area, cops, if they see you, will probably get suspicious. Once you get out of the area, you're in the clear. But it has a really good cop system. And I like that even if you're fucking hauling ass, the cop won't necessarily like come after you, but they will notice you, and it'll let you know that. So it kind of keeps you on your toes, which I like because Grand Theft Auto, even though Grand Theft Auto obviously is better, Grand Theft Auto 5 for sure. This game feels a little more natural, feels less chaotic.
I wish I would have seen that actually.
I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah, I was.
Shit's all. I mean, you can't drive down a street without a cop like at least giving you a blue line because they're looking at you. They're not even like, what are you doing? But they're still there. They're looking at you.
Yeah,
Happens
weird.
all the time.
I didn't see any. I mean, I saw the blue triangles, but they apparently just never saw me. So
I don't know about
Play
the
in
triangle.
stealth mode.
well, on the mini map, it'll show red triangles for the gang.
Show just had an invisible suit on.
Fucking maybe, dude.
Hey, he's like, why is no one talking to me?
Like that vehicle is way too beat up. He's totally fine.
I punched this old lady and everyone's screaming about ghosts.
I didn't do that either, though. Maybe it's because I was just going from point A to point B and doing what I needed to do. So
Maybe I will say they're all over the place. It's crazy. Fucking, I drive like almost any block, and the cops are like, what are you doing over there? I'm like, nothing. No
I
fucking
was
business,
speeding
dog."
like an asshole the whole time too. So
Yeah, I mean, I do too. But like I said, they'll still typically notice you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your recommendation.
Anybody
People
who's
who like
looking
getting
for a
spotted by
GTA
cops.
style game, but a little more realism, a little more down to earthness to it.
Fair. Chevy, grade it.
okay, well, I want to start with this is a good game. I don't think it's a bad game at all. It has its weaknesses, but I think it also has a lot of really good strengths to it as well. Obviously I have my own struggles with these type of games, but that isn't going to be, something I'm going to put against it as well. For what I experienced and from what I've heard from you guys at this point, I probably think it's fair to give it a C plus. So it's a good
passing.
game. It's not great. It has some really good ideas, but I think they could really improve on it.
Definitely. Even though Mafia 4 got canceled, so that company wasn't having their parent company. I think it's Take-Two. I don't remember. There's something that happened there, and it was already in production, and they got canceled. So, but Mafia 3 had a hard time because when it came out, people liked it, but they didn't love it, so it didn't get awesome. It also didn't get advertised very well. So, I only bought it because I liked Mafia 2.
Yeah, remember? I think the only reason I even knew about it is because you and Josh were talking about it.
Yeah.
So
C plus.
Yep.
I want to go next, but I also really want to know Chris's grade before I grade it because, like I said, he probably had the most negative opinion, even though you didn't say anything bad about it. But your grading is always really interesting too, because, like I said, you'll give something like a fucking A minus, and then be like, "It's not bad. It's just A minus."
I'm gonna give it a silver medal.
Like, A minus is fucking gold, dog, and he's still like, "I'm not trying to be too harsh."
I mean, I got to look up things objectively. But I'm just gonna copy and paste what Chevy said. It's got the good bones for a good game,
Got
but a
them
lot of
good
it just
bones.
feels empty. Like it falls short. And I honestly was also gonna give it a C plus. It's got the makings, like I said, makings of a good game. It just there's some things that feel very short ended and kind of quickly thrown in there.
Fair. I'm gonna go with a B. I was thinking about B plus, but I can't give it that just because I struggle playing the game after a certain point. When I do play it and I'm enjoying it, I like it a lot, but it makes it difficult for me to want to. I mean, even a game like Ghost Recon Wildlands gets repetitive after a while, but it has so much more to offer in its map and its scenarios that and its way of doing combat that I can get past that, and it's got a shitload of weapons and it's stupid. So a game like this, following a similar structure, came out first, but has less to offer in terms of like rewards and ways to go about doing missions. It's undeniable. I've said that before, but it's not something I can look past. But I'm giving it the B because I do think it plays really well. I do think it looks really good. The driving is meh, but the gunplay is fucking awesome. I actually haven't enjoyed shooting at people in a game like this in a long time. Really good job on that. The engine is awesome. I mean, I pretty much like everything about this game outside of my unwillingness to want to continue in it. So I think B is completely fair, considering you guys are giving it C pluses, which I think is a fair grade as well. I think most people who aren't passionate about this game probably give it a C plus area because, it's fine. It'd be hard to make a case for this game being bad unless you just really hated that repetition.
Sure.
There's people out there who are like, I hate grinds. Those games suck. I'm like, well, that's a lot of games.
That's a lot of
That's a
games.
very subjective thing. Like, there's so many games where you got to do something a couple times to get somewhere. It's just, how do they keep you busy? How do they reward you? That's a big factor. In this game, I don't think it's a good trade-off, but the gameplay is fucking solid. So I just wish they would have nailed it with the variety of missions and ways to progress through the game, because otherwise I really enjoy the stealth mechanics and the shooting mechanics. They're really good. I would love to see those implanted in another game with the same physics engine with ragdolling, stuff like that, because it's super impressive and it's really fun to play. So, B, C plus, C plus, B. Let us know in the comments what you think about Mafia 3. Hopefully you had a chance to play it. If you didn't play it, tell us why you didn't play it. Do you want to play it? Do you not want to play it? Does it not sound fun at all? Did you not know it existed? Some people didn't know this game exists for some reason. I guess it's lack of advertising. And if you did play it, or based off of what we said, what would you grade it? Let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, especially you guys on Reddit, because this will be coming up on there, and you guys are always really awesome. Second game we played this month. Second game I pretty much only played this month, Dead by Daylight, which, in case you didn't get a chance to play it, is a 4v1 game where 4 people are essentially trying to start 5 generators and to power a door to escape an area, while one person is playing a killer who is trying to track those people down and stop them and kill them. There's a lot of other nuance to it, but I mean that's pretty much the basic premise of the game. Multiple different characters to play as survivors with a bunch of their own perks that eventually, if you level up high enough, their personal perks can be used on other people. So there's incentive to play all the survivors. And then the killers also have all their own perks and ways they go about killing people. The game emphasizes horror themes and stealth mechanics and tactics.
I probably have the least to say about it since I played it the least.
Yeah,
So maybe I should go first.
Yeah, go ahead. I gotta try and find a good balance, because I could probably sit here and talk like all night just about my fucking build.
You've been talking all month, so
Yeah.
okay. So I want to start with saying that being a horror themed game and being multiplayer is a tough job, and I think they did a really good job. It does feel like the horror setting is really good, and there is definitely stress and anxiety involved when playing it, which, you know, being the survivor, you should feel that. Like, so really good job in that regard. I especially struggle with that, but I struggle with that even with just normal competitive games, let alone slapping horror on top of that.
I've been playing this game all month, and I played it this morning, and I did a couple of matches before I went to work, and I won all those matches, which was awesome. But even with that, by the time I was done playing like 3 matches, I was like, do I need to go to the hospital? Like, my fucking adrenaline was so fucking high. I was just like worked up, and like I was starting to get like a headache in my eye and shit, just because I was like the game. I'll talk about it in a sec, but I dig it a lot, obviously. But fucking, it's designed to be fucking stressful, even if you can handle like the horror stuff. It's like constantly the game's like, you're gonna die, you better fucking move, don't make noise, you're gonna die. And when you're the killer, you're like, you gotta kill them. They're getting the fuck away. Get these meddling kids. They're fucking leaving. And the whole time I'm just like, ugh, there's no time. Anyway,
So
I had to mention that.
no, it's cool. That is something I think is impressive, because I think horror games generally lend themselves better to be single player experiences, and they did a really good job of making, not only is it multiplayer, but it's 5 people, and you still get to experience that aspect of it.
That's a really good point too, because horror translates to single player much better, because you can give people specific experiences that are timed, which is important in horror. To do that multiplayer, there's been a lot of attempts at making horror multiplayer games, and they're always just like thematically that, but you don't get like genuine scares. I've literally jumped playing this fucking game. Someone plays Michael Myers, and they're in their stalking mode, which essentially makes it so you don't hear their heartbeat. In this game, when killers getting close, you start hearing a heartbeat depending on who they are. Michael Myers has a thing, though, where he stalks you, and essentially, as he looks at you, he builds a crit that can put you on the ground in 1 hit. But when he does that, it lowers his terror radius, so you don't hear him coming until he fucking stabs you. And I've been working on a generator, and they even make a sound effect. It's like, done! When he stabs you, and it scares the shit out of you. So there's genuine scares in this game.
Well, and when you and Josh were kind of showing me the ropes, the one time I did actually sit down and play the game, most of my experience with this game, I watched Seth play a few matches of it. So I got a good idea of the gameplay in that regard, and then I, obviously got a chance to play it to see how it actually feels.
He did some friendly matches, yeah.
Yeah. But Josh was playing that character, and I was like, just like crawling around. And I turned around, he's just standing above me. I was like, that is so fucked up. So
There's a couple times where like I was running around and I had no intention of killing you guys. Well, Josh, I was definitely gonna kill, but like if I saw you, I was gonna kind of let you do your thing. And like you're just like working on the generator, and I see you over there like just blowing up, like, and I like ran over there behind you, and I'm just standing there, and you're just like, and then you just like turned, like looked at me, and then you just like look around, and then you just like start walking away. I'm like, all right. And like I just let you run off into the bushes, and I looked for Josh. It was just funny. You're just like, hi, I'm gonna go this way. And I was like, all right, I'll see you later.
Awkward. I gotta go.
Yeah, I didn't think I'd be meeting you out here. I have more important things to do in that bush. Excuse me.
very important things.
I got business meetings out in these woods.
I also want to give the developer credit as well, because mechanically the game is very creative. They did a really good job on adding a lot of different mechanics to the game so that each scenario feels different when you're playing it. So, you know, and I'm sure Seth will go into greater detail on it, but there are things you can knock over and that can do multiple things to the killer on top of just slowing them down. If your character's running, instead of creeping around, you leave the scratches, but essentially like a visual cue for the killer to go, they went this way, but if you're sneaking, that goes away. Plus there's variances to how long that lasts and stuff. The generators, the sound cues that happen when like skill checks are going to happen, or sound cues in general in the game, they did a really good job of you don't have to necessarily see something to know what's going on, which is appreciated in any game really, and especially in a game like this. I think it actually adds an element to that suspense and anxiety, because the game isn't just blatantly telling you things. I mean, yeah, other than that, you know, it has good variety of characters, good variety of skills, especially in a long-term progression aspect of it. I think it's really neat that if you level someone up enough, their personal skills become available for other characters. So you can really kind of tailor a build. Seth will have plenty to say on that, I'm sure. So, but yeah, overall, I think it's, even though completely 100% not for me and I'll never touch it again in my life, I think it is, I can't really see a lot of fault or flaw in it. It is a very well-made, realized game. So,
Price like Crisco, so when I go, I can just fucking blah, 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 blah.
so I can just
Yeah, just peek out all the stuff. I'll try and keep it short.
This is a game that I've actually watched hours upon hours of people play.
It is a fun game to watch.
I enjoy it immensely. And even watching the game, the suspense will get to me because I'm kind of a pansy like that, I guess.
Chevy said the same thing when he watched me play. Before he even played the game. I was like, yeah, just watch me. I'll show you the ropes. He started watching. He's like, this is stressing me out just watching you play. And I was like, uh-oh.
It is intense. And then, I mean, I've watched it enough now that it doesn't really like get me like ramped up anymore. But playing it is completely different. I played about 5 or 6 matches with you, I think it was. And it was stressful to say the least, even though I know like a lot of like the ins and outs of like how you should play against certain killers, and like perks are really useful, and team comps and things like that. There's still an element of randomness to it, regardless of how well you can plan out your characters.
Well, and you gotta also play the game to up your physical skill of it too. I mean, like you can know everything about like a shooter, but you know how you play it is going to be dependent on, you know, how much time you've spent playing the game actually. Because your first match, I mean, you essentially got taken right when it started.
Killed.
Yeah, as soon as it started, fucking the guys walked up to you and just picked you up and took you away, and we're like, all right, fucking bye, Chris. Thanks for playing.
Then there, right outside the hook, just.
And then later fucking yeah, that, I mean, that happens on and off. Later fucking me, you and Josh had a really good match where we all got out, and then the match after that we all got killed except for you were able to find the hatch, I believe. But that's where you ended up quitting, which I could tell because you were yelling at that point. You're like,
was I?
yeah, no, you were like talking louder and louder, and like I was already out of the match. I was like looking through my shit, and I could just hear you just telling us stuff, but I wasn't. I was kind of like, you know, in when you're out the other, because I'm like building my character, and then you're like, blah, 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 like, ah! You're like, I found it. I'm like, what? You're like, I got out of the hatch. I found the hatch. and you're like, okay, I gotta quit.
I gotta go.
Yeah, it was too much for him at that point, which I feel.
This game is just, it's so great that they've constantly added updates to it, and there's new killers every time with a new survivor every time, and they all feel unique. They all have individual ways of stalking their prey and killing them, and even like what they call the Mori system, where it's like you knock someone down and you can instant kill them. They're all unique animations that have a story behind how the characters like came to be a killer. Like the clown likes to suck people's fingers, so he cuts off your finger and licks it and throws it on his keychain. Or the nurse will suffocate you because she went crazy in an asylum that she was a nurse at and suffocated everybody.
You can definitely tell the guys who made this game are huge horror fans, and obviously you can say that about any people who make a horror game, but like they get really fucking creative with the mechanics of gameplay and it making sense with the horror of that killer. Like I'm impressed constantly with like the whole Michael Myers like standing back and watching you while building a crit and then to pop out and kill you. It's just like the movies.
Right.
Like it makes complete sense. Freddy Krueger, he's in the dream world, so he has to put you to sleep and then he kills you there, which is really fucking terrifying to watch people just floating in the air struggling.
Right.
I'm just like, this is fucking scary. So yeah, I mean they do a great job with that aspect.
And it's fun to see like them getting licensed killers every now and like you said, Freddy Krueger and Michael Myers. They have the pig, which is the lady from Saw, and they have a kind of Leatherface, not Leatherface, but Leatherface character. It's not a licensed Leatherface, but it is Leatherface.
It looks just like him.
Yeah, but if I recall right, it's not licensed him. It's maybe it is.
They're fucking.
I think maybe it is.
They're really pushing it because he's in the same clothes and everything. Obviously, you can't trademark clothes, but
right, but you can trademark like overall aesthetics of characters.
yeah.
So it might be him. I might be wrong on that one. But even
all they got to call him is Pleatherface, and they're fine.
Leatherface. But even their original killers are so well flushed out. It's just like you said, it's amazing, and they keep adding more and more, and they're all just so great. And they add new maps that add new elements to the game every time as well. Like you're gonna get the windows you jump through, the lockers you hide in, various like things in the map to like kind of circle juke around. But like the new one is residency from Japan, like an ancient Japanese home, and it
Which
looks
is
amazing.
worth shouting out that as this game was free this month, the new update is coming out, which introduces a new killer, a new survivor, and a new map. They're still supporting this game
Constantly.
Yeah,
It's amazing.
it's awesome. Yeah. Anything else?
I just can't. I mean, I just can't speak enough of this game. I enjoy watching it a tremendous amount. I watch it daily, and playing it. I'm sure I will get more into it as I just kind of push myself to play it because I really want to play it more. But for now, it's just kind of like this. Okay, let's get ready. Here we're gonna go. Don't stress out.
It's funny because I've actually put like a lot of fucking hours into this game this month, and I do feel like I think I'm like rank 11 now, and I'm easily going to be cruising into some of those single digits soon. But especially with how my match has been going lately. But it's just funny that through my experience in the game and learning it through just playing it constantly, I can mention something and you not even playing the game that much at all, like just watching it, you know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about, and then you're telling me information. Like, oh, that's the blah 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 blah. So it's just so interesting that like, you know, what I know is from me playing the fucking game. What you know is just you've seen so much of it, you fucking know about it. Like you've definitely watched enough of it to like, I mean, you know enough about it, like you played it a lot. So it's just interesting that like the other night when I was talking about my build, you're like, oh, is it blah blah? I'm like, let me check. I'm sitting there looking through my build as you're like looking through shit, and like, it's just funny how much you know about that game without even really playing it.
A bit.
Yeah. So you definitely like it because I don't know why you know all that otherwise.
I love it. I fucking love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, again, I like to kind of give a little backstory into how I got into the game originally. I bought it on Steam because I actually think Chris was suggesting it. I had heard about it before, but I was always like, whatever. And Chris was like, oh, you know, I love watching it and shit. So I was like, I'll look into it. And then it was on sale. I bought it on Steam. And for some reason, I played it a little bit and I did not love it. But I tried to play it killer. And for some reason, I couldn't be a killer, wouldn't let me connect with people. Now I know that when you play the killer, you actually create the server and people have to connect with you, which I think is a very, very smart system. I'm going to say this a lot during this time that I'm talking about the game because I think a lot of this game is fucking smart. So it might have been an NAT issue. I'm not sure. NAT type. Some kind of network thing. But at the time, I didn't realize how the servers worked, so I returned the game to Steam. I was like, well, it's kind of cool, but, fuck it. Comes out now. I'm playing it again, so I'm like, oh, I actually have a chance to try this game out. And it's been a crazy adventure for me because I have gone through so many different phases of techniques and learning to get better to the point where I am actually, I would say, pretty good at the game now. And I started out struggling, but trying to learn because I realized that even though the game seems like a simplistic premise, there's a lot of nuance to it. And it's all so fucking balanced and well laid out that everything makes sense. And it, in my opinion, is the ultimate 4v1 game. There's been a couple of the games that have tried to do it, and I don't think they even fucking come close. Evolve came out, and it was kind of a cool idea, but it's almost like the opposite. The 4 people are hunting you, and you're the one person. You got to try and evolve to fight them back, but a lot of times they just slaughter you.
That game's going down, I believe, this or next month. They're shutting down the servers.
Yeah, and I mean, like, it looked great, and it was a cool idea, but, like, that's the difference. Dead by Daylight, I've always heard about since it came out. It's always had a small following, and it's grown, like, a lot, and now I see why. It just fucking works. They had a really good idea, and they've shown crazy amount of imagination supporting the game. These guys just had a really good idea, and their minds are in the right fucking place to make this game competitive and fun and all that stuff. Another one, the Friday the 13th game was plagued with issues, and it didn't nail the horror thing very well. It became like this big joke where people would just get in a car and he would just destroy the car and teleport all over the place. So I'm sure it's fine now. I don't know, but I don't hear about it. So it just kind of speaks to, I'm saying this is such a great game when it comes to 4v1. I think it speaks for itself and that it's still around. They're still supporting it and people are still playing it. In the time that I've played it, I fucking love the game. I haven't been this addicted to a game in a long time, especially a competitive game, which is weird because I have a real big background in first-person shooters. I'm a pretty competitive person. So I used to play those games very competitively. I'd want to win, blah, blah, blah. In recent years, I just kind of play them, and I'm like, yeah, this is fun, whatever. Playing this, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of potential here. I can start making builds and making my character better at stealthing, or as the killer, I can start thinking differently on how to kill these survivors. And then with the ranking system, you start at 20, and throughout the season, you start going down to match with other people who are also playing as well as you. So like I said, you start at 20. I think I'm at like 11 now, and I'm pretty sure I'll get into the single digits here soon. I don't know if I'm going to get down to like 3 or 2 or anything like that, but I'm going to get down there. But there's a really cool competitive aspect to it that I'm really digging. When you escape from the killer, it feels awesome. Even if you don't escape, but you make like a big enough like splash to deter him from killing everybody else, it feels good. When you're the killer, there's a fucking god complex where you're just like, I rule all of you. I was telling Josh that I was like, you know what? When someone fucking gets me and throws me on the hook and they're in my face the whole time, I'm like, you piece of shit. You think you're better than me. Fuck you, blah, blah, blah. And they're sitting there looking at me, hit me with the little knife, and then they run off. I'm like, I fucking hate you, killer. When I'm the killer, I'm doing the same thing. I'm like, you little fucker. I'm like, ugh. I'm like, stay up there. And the whole time, they're probably thinking the same thing.
I did enjoy playing the killer more than the survivors.
I'm surprised you didn't play the killer more. There's no fear there. Like, you're just fucking, you better stay away from me because I'm going to kill you. You should try it some more because playing the killer is actually, it's like a completely different game. The game's glorified fucking hide and go seek, but yeah. So I'm kind of just babbling at this point, but things I like, everything. But the survivors, I really like the variety. There's a lot of survivors. They're adding more. They all have customization, which is something the game doesn't need, but it does have. If there's one complaint I have about the game, it's a pay-for game, even though this was free this time, and they want you to spend more money for customization. You can earn most of the stuff in-game currency, which takes a long time. If you're playing as much as I am, you can afford some of it. But even I'm looking at some of the shit that's like 14,000, whatever the fuck the currency is, and I'm like, that's steep. But then they have a real money currency that you can buy to buy the stuff, and I'm like, I'm tempted because I'm really into the game, but I'm like, that's fucked up. Like that's the only thing I don't like about it. But regardless of that, the customization is really cool. It's not needed, but it's there, and it's cool because you see a lot of flair. You'll play with other people, and they're all dressed up. Shit, you're like, oh fuck, this guy has been playing a while, or this dude's got some money.
Have you seen legacy skins yet?
I don't know.
They glow. They have glowing like scratch marks all over their outfits.
I feel like I saw that once.
They're dope, but they're not that common.
Yeah. But yeah, the progression system also, just moving to other things I like, is really fucking smart. So how it works is as you play the game, no matter who you're playing, you get blood points. And those blood points are across the board. They work for everybody. So if you're playing this survivor and you want to spend blood points on this other survivor, they're all pooled together. If you're playing the killer and you want to just accrue a bunch of blood points, but you want to level up the survivor, you can do it, which I think is a really good system. It's also interesting too because every level has a blood web, which is a bunch of things you can unlock, items, perks, stuff like that, and it's all procedurally generated. It's all random. So when it rolls up the level, you complete it, you're level 2 now. When you complete that, you're level 3. I've never played a game like that, and I fucking love that system. It doesn't feel gimmicky. It works really well. There's a feeling of like mystery on what's going to be in the next blood web when you level up. I think the max level is 50. I'm 40 something with Nia, so I'm getting up there pretty high. I got a couple characters that are like 15, 20 area. And just being able to get to the top and unlock the player-specific perks is a really cool system because it incentivizes you to play all the characters, or at least the ones you want perks from, to make the ultimate build. It's a really, really cool fucking system that I've never seen in a game before, and I'd love to see again. I really like it. And then yeah, with the killer as well. I mean, you can spend the blood points over on them as well, and you can add all sorts of modifiers to their weapons or their arsenal, whatever they use to kill people. The way the maps are laid out are really smart. You can change modifiers for the maps as well, make more fog, less hooks for people to get put on. A bunch of shit. The game also has a lot of parameters of like Chevy's kind of saying, there's like pallets that are up on the side, and like if you run through them, you can hit a button and throw them down. So if the killer's chasing after you, they have to walk around because the killer plays in first person, you play in third person. So which I think is one of the big reasons why I love this game so much. One of my favorite multiplayer modes ever was in Splinter Cell Chaos Theory, which was the third Splinter Cell, which was spy versus mercenaries mode, where 2 people played spies, 2 people played mercenaries. And the mercenaries were in first person, they had machine guns, and they had actual killing weapons. And the spies didn't have killing weapons, they had gadgets, but they were in third person, they got to stealth around. And if you dropped on a mercenary, you could knock them out. I always loved playing the spy because I liked sneaking around and like just griefing the fuck out of mercenaries. They'd be like chasing after me. I'd drop down, knock them out, and then I'd start doing essentially the generator. So I mean, this game really takes a lot from that, and it's the closest thing to it. So I mean, like it makes sense why I love it. But yeah, the pallets is a really good system. Jumping through windows is a good system. Survivors can go through windows faster than killers can. So when you're playing killer, you got to think about, do I need to get through that window? Is that the only way, the best way to get to them, or should I walk around and potentially lose them? There's just so many things to think about in that game when it comes to tactic. Every time you play someone new, you got to go like, do I want to play this slow and steady? Do I want to just run in there and try and kill them all as quick as I can? If I put someone on the hook, do I want to stay there and wait for them to die? Or do I want to go look for the other ones? Because I don't want to waste time while they could be doing all the generators. You just got to really, figure out who you're dealing with and how they play. Like I've said before, a lot of people don't like when people camp the hooks, and for the most part, I think it's a waste of time. If you're playing against a good team, they're going to be knocking those generators out, so you're wasting time. But if you're playing against a team and they have like one person on their team that's just like a fucking all-star, they got like the goddamn Michael Jordan of fucking survivors there, and he's just running around, or she's just running around healing everyone and just always fucking causing you grief, you get your hands on that little fucker, get them on the hook, get them the fuck out of there. Because that team's going to crumble as soon as they're gone. I've done it. Like, I see the person with the health kit who's just like constantly always trying to get me, like, hey, come here. I'm chasing after someone else. They're like, come here. Come pick on me. Pick on someone your own size. I'm like, bitch, I'm like 3 times your size. So I chase after them. They're like, fucking chase me. And I hit them and knock them down. And they're like, oh, I'll just get off the hook. I'm like, no, you're not. This is over. I'm done fucking with you. You're getting out of here. And then I'm going to kill all your friends now. That's what happens. So, I don't normally camp the hooks, but when it comes to those guys, I'm like, you're leaving. Get out. But yeah, I'm going to try and cut this short because I could probably just do what I'm doing right now for the next 3 hours. So I love this game. I enjoyed it a lot. I want to go play it right now. As we enter a new month where we have new PlayStation Plus games and a game of the month, I'm going to be playing Dead by Daylight still. So this was a pretty good month for PlayStation Plus, in my opinion. Because I can't remember the last PlayStation Plus game that I got that I'm like, the next month still, I'm just like, oh, God. Well, Bloodborne. But I already owned that before, though. So
I don't think it's ever happened to me.
Yeah. No, I'm really into this game. Like I said, I'm already thinking about. I've already bought a couple of the chapters, some of the killers and the survivors. I bought there's a customization pack. Every character gets like 2 or 3 things to wear. It was only like $4, so I did that, and I have already thought about spending the money in game to customize my characters. And I don't like that you have to do it, but that's how invested in the game I am. I'm just like, I want those fucking things. So that's how they get you. The hag has some pretty cool outfits that make it look like a plant, and
they just added those not too long ago.
Yeah. And then like all the characters that everybody plays the most, they all just got new outfits. Those specific characters. I was like, wow. Nia, Meg, and Claudette.
Yeah.
Yeah, those 3 just got new outfits. I'm like, that's funny. Everyone plays them.
It's because they're the most useful perks to start off with.
They should put useful perks on other people so you can buy costumes for them.
I mean, they have the useful perks when you're first starting out to like build up your perk tree. Later on, the other perks tend to be a little more. You throw them in here and there, but yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I love this game. Let's get into recommendations. This one's really kind of tough for me because as much as I love this game, I could not recommend this to a lot of people. I'm still thinking right now, like, fuck, if you like horror themed stuff, check it out. I don't know if you're gonna like it though. This game, you need to invest time in to understand the rule set. If you're a competitive person, oddly enough, I think you're going to like this game a lot because this is a game that you want to win in. If you're a survivor, you want to survive. Like, you don't want to get killed by the killer. So there's a natural, like, I want to win. Even if it doesn't feel like it, it's just you trying to live. A team of 4 people who all want to survive, play pretty competitively. Just like when you're a killer, you want to catch the fucking assholes. Like they're all like these little assholes running like blah 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 blah, just fucking with your generators. Like get off my lawn.
Damn Scooby-Doo kids.
Exactly. The last like 2 videos I made for the game, I wanted to put the Scooby-Doo music too, but I just couldn't make it work. Didn't look right, so I just didn't do it. But yeah. So if you're a competitive gamer, I think there's something here for you. It's not a big genre, but if you like 4v1 games, I think this is the best one I've ever played. So definitely check it out. If you are into stealth competitively, definitely play it because that's what it is. I think you'll do better in this game if you stealth it than if you try and just run from the killer. Some people will just do generators until they get chased. And I'm just like, no, you got to locate the killer and just never be seen by the fucker, ever. You don't exist. And as you get perks, that becomes easier. So I got a setup right now where like here I am still just talking about the game. I'm trying to recommend it. I'm just like, oh, I did this in the game. I have a setup right now where like I see the killer when I complete a generator. I move fast when I'm crouched, and I use that perk that you were telling me about that gives you the whoo sound when you're looking at the killer, and it's way too useful. I've avoided the killer way too many times now with that fucking perk. I'll be walking through a cornfield like, oh, and I'm just like, he's right in front of me. I just turn around and fucking go away.
Yep.
I never run into him. It's awesome. And it's a 30-second cooldown. It's crazy. Yeah. Maybe you guys can put something into this because like I can constantly recommend this to people in different genres, but you need to be a competitive player to play this game. I don't think you could enjoy this game if you're just, I want to have fun. Like you're gonna have fun getting thrown on hooks. Like you really got to go, I don't want to die, and you got to really play like it. So there's a lot to learn here. It's not a like, I mean I guess you could stay at rank 20 for a long time and just like play with a lot of people who are just like flashing flashlights at each other and fucking licking paint and staring at the wall dry and shit. But there's a lot to take in on this game and get better at. I mean, it's kind of like you can't recommend Rocket League to everyone, because once you get out into like the people who love Rocket League, they're gonna destroy you.
Yeah, they're just defying physics all day.
Yeah, so I mean, like it's kind of like that. Maybe if you like Rocket League and you're not attached to the car aspect of it, check this game out because it has the same like community vibe as you go up the ranks. People play really fucking hard. I was playing a match last night and my whole team was just getting killed. Just wrecked. And the whole time I'm just trying to complete generators and get people off the hook every once in a while. But for the most part, I'm just like, you guys are so reckless, I can't handle this. And Michael Myers just going around stabbing people. Someone's getting carried away, they disconnect, which I hate. Because first off, that's shitty. You're fucking everyone else over. Secondly, the killer gets a quitting bonus, which I think is genius. I think every game needs to do that. If you're playing a match and people leave, don't punish the person leaving. Just be like, hey, this sucks. The match got fucked up, but here's more experience for dealing with that. I think that's awesome.
Not only does the killer get more experience, the person who quit gets 0 experience, and if they brought in items, they lose all of it, and it counts as a loss against their leveling progression.
Exactly. So I think it's a great system. But that person left, and then he killed someone else, and then me and the last person are left, and that person fucking disconnect when they're mid-chase. They're getting chased, they're running, and they disconnected. So it's funny because I was like, they're definitely going to kill that person. I know they're not going to survive this. So I started looking for the hatch early. Because typically, towards the end of the match, when someone's about to die and I'm going to be the last one alive, I start trying to find that hatch pretty quickly because that's my way out. And so I'm looking for it, but I'm not finding it. Then they disconnect. I'm like, shit. So I'm like sneaking around, just trying not to be seen. I'm going to play out the whole match, never being seen by Michael until I find that fucking hatch. Unless he happens to find me because he has that outline tracker thing that he can do. Anyway, when he's in stock mode, you can see outside a line around him. Yeah, so it's funny because like I'm up on this like I think it's a swamp that's dried out because I'm on like this like pier looking thing, and I'm walking around up there, and I think they saw me with that stalking mode because I just see him walking right at me instantly, and as I'm like getting ready to like, oh shit, where am I gonna go? I'm gonna die. I hear the hatch going, ooh. I was like, fuck, where are you? So I like drop down and I see them right above me. They're dropping down. I run under and fucking jump in the hatch and the match is over. I'm like, fuck you. I got out of there. And then like 2 minutes later, I get a message and a friend request. And the person's like, good game. And I was like, were you the killer? And they're like, yeah. They're like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, I jumped in the hatch. They're like, the hatch? I'm like, how are you rank 12 and you don't know about the hatches? So I just explained to him because I was like, if you don't know, you should probably know if you're this far into the game. I was like, if everyone dies and there's one person left, they have an instant out. So that's what happened because they thought I disappeared.
Okay, bye.
They're just like confused on like how I just left the game without quitting.
Mia is a magician in real life, and she just has a smoke cloud that she drops and disappears.
Yeah, that'd be a great perk. Every match I win. All right, recommend it. I'm just gonna keep talking about this game.
Oh, I mean, the main recommendation is competitive gameplay. People who are in competitive games and
if you can handle horror,
it is at its core what it is. If you're into horror themed games, for sure. And a little bit on the cooperative side, even though you don't really have to be super cooperative.
Well, that's the masterfulness of this game is whenever you get in a room with random people, you need to feel it out because some people will play like they're not playing with you. As soon as they can leave, they will fucking leave you.
Yeah.
And other people will try and get you, and there's perks that incentivize both styles of play. So it is absolutely a cooperative game if you choose to do that. But if you choose to be like a lone wolf, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
So like it's definitely a cooperative game, but it doesn't hold you to it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying in recommendation wise, it's kind of a game people who enjoy cooperative games might enjoy. I don't think that's 100% the case because obviously, like, I love cooperative games, and this game is not a game I can play.
Yeah.
But I do think if you can handle competitive and do cooperative at the same time, type of thing, it's gonna be right in your wheelhouse. If you like mechanic heavy games, I definitely think this is worth checking out because it is very mechanic heavy. Like Seth said, there is a lot of systems to learn. I do enjoy that aspect of a lot of games. So like I said before, I do think it's fun to watch because of all the nuances and stuff that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, you could watch like an esport. I mean, like, just watch a team of 4 people try and beat the killer. Like, there's so many tactics and plays involved. You'll watch people like organize like tactics to get someone off a hook, and shit. I mean, like, it's like it's a horrible example, but it's like it's football. Like, fucking people are like, all right, you two fucking rush in and grab the person. I'm gonna distract the killer, or like, you know, fuck up on the generator constantly to try and distract the killer. Like, there's just all these different things going on that yeah, if you are playing with a team that's cooperating, you can get really creative.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting to watch. I've spectated a couple times when I've already left or died, just to see how it played out, because I'm like, fuck, we were doing good. What happened next?
Yeah, and I think that speaks a lot of the developer for being able to make a game that is both plays well and is easy to spectate. So, but other than that, I do think this is a very narrow focus game. So it is hard to recommend to everybody. In fact, like Seth said earlier, I don't think that's possible. There's definitely going to be this is going to be your type of game,
Yeah.
or it is not going to be.
A good example of that is Cody, and I don't think he's played it yet, but he hit me up a couple days ago when I was playing. And he's like, "Oh shit!" He's like, "I want to play." I'm like, "Do you have it?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm downloading right now." And I'm like, "Have you played it before?" Because I'm like trying to figure out if I need to be tutorial man or if we're just gonna play. And then the whole time I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna like this or not. Like, and yeah, I'd love to play with somebody. Like Cody's like, "Oh, I want to play any game." But like, fuck yeah, let's do it. But like, this was like, is he gonna like this? Like, I don't even know.
Did he?
We never played. I think he probably got too high. Never heard from him again. Supposed to hear from
Cody.
Kobe.
Disappoint.
Yeah, I think that's about as much as I can really recommend. So,
Do you have anything to add to the recommendations? You pretty much fall in the same area.
Pretty much follows the same area. Stealth, tactics, heavy in tactics, I think is a really important key.
Yeah.
I, like you said, if you're really into like horror games, that you can't be afraid of being afraid.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta kind of relish in that because you're gonna get scared a lot.
Definitely. Yeah, and if you're somebody who gets flustered easy playing game, like you're constantly getting picked up by the killer and getting thrown on the hook, and that's going to annoy you after a while, you're not going to like this game, 100%. You got to accept that sometimes you're going to die, or sometimes you're going to get inconvenienced a lot. You're going to be almost done with the generator, and you're going to have to run away from it, or you're going to get grabbed, or something's going to happen. You're going to go, oh my God. So, I mean, it just comes with the territory of that very competitive. I mean, it's way more competitive than I thought it'd be, and I fucking love it for it, but I can't recommend it to a lot of people, although I would absolutely suggest try it out. So that was the hardest recommendation I've ever made for a game, for any of the games on the channel ever, but also for a game that I love. So just because I'm probably going to grade it, I don't know, pretty decent. Let's go with you, shall we? We started with you last time. Chris.
I kind of have a biased opinion about this. I give it an A. The game is solid. There's constantly new updates, new ways to play the game. It's just constantly improving itself over and over and over again. And it's just the amount of gameplay is limitless, really, in this. It seems like it wouldn't be because it's like generators get out, but just because of all the perks and the killers, there's unlimited ways this game can be played. So I give it a solid A. It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good grade. I completely agree. I'm also giving it an A. I was gonna give it an A-, but I'm giving an A because I really the only things this game lacks, with like a lot of games, that what they lack in place of me potentially giving like an A+, is like no lasting emotional attachment to like characters or story or like musical composition or anything like that. But for a game and its gameplay, it is fucking awesome. I love playing it. I see myself playing it more because I have so many perks I want to unlock through other people's blood webs to make the ultimate build, to be more competitive against people. I want to get better ranked. because I like that system and I do feel like I'm pretty good at the game. I am invested in this game. I feel like when people talk about games like Rocket League, they're like, oh, I love Rocket League. I play it all the time. I feel like that with this game. So yeah, I think that investment and just the sheer amount of enjoyment I get out of this game, I have to give it an A. I can't give it anything less because there is nothing bad about it. There's nothing negative about it. I have no complaints about it outside of that I have to spend money on certain things and I want to do it and I hate that. But I mean, they did a good job in making me want to do that. I'm invested. So, but outside of, that paywalled content that's just aesthetics, the game's fucking solid, and I'm really glad I got to play it because I played it prior, and I was like, yeah, it was all right. And my opinion was completely wrong because if I would have played it the same I played it now, fucking I would have loved it. So it's a really good game, and yeah, I want to play it right now. So A.
I'm gonna go
To give it a D- or a D.
I'm gonna give it a B+. I do think it is a very good game. I think it does what it intends to do. I think the only thing that really kind of prevents me from going into the A is that you do have to fumble your way through to get better at it. At least from my experience.
There's a lot of times you're gonna get murdered because you're like, I didn't know what to do there.
Well, I'm not worried about that part
I'm
so
running
much,
in a straight
but,
line. Why'd he kill me?
Just it's some form of like training is missing, it seems like. And then the paywall stuff I think is kind of shitty. I understand it being there, especially as a shortcut. It helps them generate revenue, but I think all the cosmetics should have a ability to get them.
Some of it's not a shortcut. Some of it's locked. You have to buy it.
And so yeah, that I don't think that's a good approach. I wish they would.
If it's free to play, I wouldn't care.
But it's not. It's a premium game.
Yeah.
So I have to knock it for that as well. But other
I'm
than
just
that,
an addict, so I just go like, it's fine. It's like you're doing heroin. You're like, it's fine.
But I feel for a game that I have no interest in playing, that it is a good game, and that if it is your type of game, you should be playing it and keeping that community going for it. I think it's a good game and it deserves recognition. So
definitely, and B+ is high. So I mean, that's good, especially for a game you're really not going to play. So.
Nope.
I think it is worth mentioning though, specifically for people who might comment on this. There is a training tutorial area that you can go into.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't want you to make that comment. Someone go, "What the fuck?" It was right there the whole time. He didn't look. He didn't look at that.
Well, I will say my interaction with the game was quite literally like, hop on. You guys were like, invite, go. So
it was you being Trishelle going on fucking Tower of Terror the whole time. It's just like. How do I get out of doing this? You're like, come on, Chevy, just play the game. You're like, okay, I'm in the game. What do I do? Hide. I don't want to move. Just kill me. Just do it. Get me out of here.
That's how I handled getting ganked in WoW.
Yeah.
They start fighting me. I'm like, just push the keyboard away, wait for them to get bored, go back to playing.
When I originally used to get picked up, I'd just be like, you fucking son of a bitch, while I'm getting dragged off. I'm like, I hate you. Someone get me off this motherfucker. And now I'm just like, as soon as they pick me up, I'm like, I just pull out my phone while I'm twirling my stick. And I'm just keeping an eye on it. And if someone gets me, I'm like, all right. And I go back in. So it's funny how much that's changed. Before I took it so personal. I'm like, you're going to kill me? Now I'm just like, God damn it, dude. Get the fuck off me.
Shit, not this again. Fuck.
Yeah. I'm just going to get off the hook and you're never going to see me for the rest of the match. Because I'm like, oh, you're decent. I'm going to have to fucking play a little harder. Yeah. Yeah. So overall, seems like this is a pretty good month for PlayStation Plus. Pretty decent.
On a technical level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments what you think about Dead by Daylight. Have you played it? If you haven't played it, have you watched it? I know this game isn't for everyone. If you haven't played it or watched it, why haven't you? Are you interested in playing it? Are you not interested in playing it? We're thinking about anything that has to do with Mafia 3, Dead by Daylight, PlayStation Plus. We think about Destiny 2, and the other game,
God of War 3.
God of War 3. And have you played Deep Rock Galactic? I know it has nothing to do with this, but we're going to be playing it in September. So
Rock and Stone.
Rock and Stone to the bone for Carl. And yeah, that's good to do this episode of Plus Club on Tasteful Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out me and Chris on Twitch at Tasty Senpai, all one word, and Chris is Tasty_fruit. Hit the notification button to know when we go live. I'm probably gonna stream some Dead by Daylight here soon, and imagine that. And the Discord down in the description box. You can talk to us if you want to.
I'm always lurking in Discord.
Or Chris lives in the Discord, and I just pop in and I'm like, respect the categories. Here's some weird shit I'm gonna say. Here's a fucking picture I made. Bye. And I always like to go in the Discord and make sure that the Brave Exvius door is shut. I don't want to see the light glowing from out that door. Because I peek in there and I never like what I see.
It's been super quiet in there.
I don't know. I don't go in there. I know Psycho's in there just fucking give me the control on Vermintide 2. And I'm like, no, Psycho. It's never going to happen. It's been 6 years. Please. Just leave it alone. Yeah. And we're also got podcast platforms. iTunes, Spotify, and other things. Down below. 9 different ones, I believe. And... yeah. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Until next episode, which I believe will be Taste Tuesday, since we're probably skipping Tastecast this week. Mm-hmm. This week's been hectic as fuck, but it's been worth it. So, we got that video out. Bunch of new subscribers. Welcome to the channel. But yeah, until Tuesday for Taste Tuesday. Have a great weekend, guys. Hopefully you get a 3-day weekend, and take it easy.